Godzilla. Godzilla. A roar splits the air, metallic and primal, rattling steel and shaking oceans. The frame denies the whole body, spines slicing water, a tail scything through concrete, a foot flattening a street. Scale arrives through fragments, not totals. In 1954, he was born from nuclear fire, a walking mushroom cloud. Japan's fear of annihilation pressed into reptilian flesh. Across decades, he shifted, destroyer, savior, protector, nemesis, changing masks to mirror each era's anxieties. Radiation in the 1950s, pollution in the 1970s, climate collapse today. Critics call him a mascot now, recycled and softened, but the persistence of the roar says otherwise. That sound, half siren, half earthquake, broadcasts collective dread across generations, across screens. The lens grammar locks the myth. Low angles shrinking cities beneath him, long lenses compressing enormity, silhouettes turning him into continent rather than character. Nobody ever wins against Godzilla. At best, they endure him. He isn't a story thread to resolve. He is a mirror reflecting whatever disaster the world fears most. When he rises from the water, the spectacle isn't entertainment. It's diagnosis, delivered in thunder and flame, and it never truly stops here. Lord of the Rings. The cavern breathes fire and shadow. A whip lashes, stone splinters, the abyss ignites. The Balrog is contradiction made flesh. Wings glimpsed in smoke, a body both blazing and black. In the film, it looks like a mid-quest obstacle, a boss staged for spectacle. In Tolkien's Legendarium, it is older. A fallen Maesir, a demon of the First Age, history climbing out of burial. Peter Jackson frames it not as random monster, but as memory forcing its way back into the world. Gandalf's stand on the bridge isn't just defense, it's arbitration between past and present. You shall not pass becomes a verdict against history itself. When the Balrog falls, it drops into the abyss of time, carrying unresolved ages with it. Some call the Balrog a set piece, a fiery intermission. The truth is sharper. It burns because it embodies continuity, the way old wounds refuse silence. The sound design, masonry like roars, fire-licking stone, codes permanence. Monsters of flesh can be slain. Monsters of memory cannot. The Balrog proves cinema's greatest terrors aren't new. They're the past returning, demanding acknowledgement and payment. It isn't defeated, it is only buried deeper. Aliens, metal corridors, sweat condensation. Alarms pulse. Then silent swallow sound. From the dark comes a hiss. Too sharp for steam, too deliberate for accident. The creature isn't introduced, it's withheld. Jaws inside jaws. A body coiled like weaponized bone. Skin slick like machinery turned organic. H.R. Giger fuses insect, serpent, machine, and nightmare into a single invasive form. Nothing invites empathy. Everything codes violation. The Queen extends that logic. Architecture in motion. A hive mother birthing terror. She is myth not because of size, but function. Where Godzilla is disaster, this is infection. Fear that something can grow inside you and consume you from within. Critics reduce it to another monster, but audiences feel the shift instantly. Her presence changes genre. Corridors become wombs. Survival becomes body horror. The soundscape, dripping saliva, metal groans, inhuman screech, pins her as biological and industrial. She doesn't chase, she waits, inevitable as evolution. The Xenomorph isn't an enemy to defeat. It's destiny written in biology, a parasite elevated into archetype. That's why the Queen isn't just monster, but myth. Creation inverted, motherhood reimagined as apocalypse. Even victory feels temporary, like ceiling cracked doors. Pirates of the Caribbean, a ship groans under sudden silence. Then the ocean erupts, tentacles coil, sails shred, men vanish into black water. The beast never arrives whole, only fragments, suction cups, snapping beak, collapsing whirlpools. Fragmentation is mythic grammar. For centuries, sailors swore leviathans swallowed ships, stories carved into taverns and logbooks. The film translates that folklore into blockbuster form. Spectacle, orchestra surging, splinters flying, but the missing silhouette is deliberate. The Kraken is inevitability. If you can chart it, you can resist it. Remaining unknowable makes it eternal. Critics dismiss it as another digital beast, yet its power lies in denial. The camera cuts short, never stabilizing scale, so the creature remains imagination as much as image. Every wave crash feels like the world attacking itself. The Kraken isn't character, but law, a certainty that if you stray too far, you vanish. Myth is a contract between fear and the unknown. Here, the ocean signs it in thunder. It doesn't hunt you, it collects you. The sea turns courtroom, and the verdict is swallowed. No appeals, no witnesses, no name. You never beat the Kraken. You only disappear beneath it, unrecorded, unreturned. The Hobbit. Gold glitters like sunlight frozen in stone. Beneath it, a shadow shifts, scales shimmer, and then the voice, smooth, intelligent, arrogant. Smaug is more than dragon. He is greed with wings. avarice given fire, his body is fortress, his breath, apocalypse. In Tolkien and in Peter Jackson alike, he isn't obstacle but embodiment, a vice that devours civilizations. Unlike beasts who roar, Smaug converses. He taunts, flatters, manipulates, probing for weakness with precision. His myth lives in temptation as much as destruction. The camera caresses his enormity. Wide pans over scale ridges, close-ups on coal-bright eyes. Even speech is smoke, curling around you until you start believing the lie is yours. He offers flattery like poison, sweet, slow, certain. Each frame insists he doesn't hoard treasure, he is treasure, corrupted. Some criticize the extended scenes, yet few fantasy monsters carry such narrative weight. Dragons are universal archetypes, but Smaug crystallizes the idea into something ancient and immediate. The myth isn't that he breathes fire, it's that his existence proves wealth can rot worlds. When he sprawls across his hoard, he is king and curse. Desire without end, given form and smiling. Avatar, the way of water. A shadow swells beneath turquoise waves, then breaches in slow majesty. A Tulkun arcs skyward, vast as a stadium, marked with scars, songs, names. James Cameron frames them like documentary subjects. Natural light, long takes. Eyes that communicate thought. They aren't beasts, but philosophers with fins. Mourners who compose elegies. They return year after year, remembered by name, greeted like elders. When they sing, the water carries language that feels older than war itself. For the Met Cayena, they are kin and teachers. For humans, they are prophet, hunted for enzymes that halt aging. The violence is surgical, harpoons piercing not flesh but culture. Some dismiss them as CGI whales. Yet the Tulkun are myth because they're treated as people, histories, values, grief. Their slaughter indicts more than it entertains. Mythical creatures often terrify. Here they shame. Every ripple codes reverence. To harm them is trespass against a worldview. The Tulkun prove myth isn't only fear. Sometimes it's respect so deep that killing becomes sacrilege. When one dies, the film shows no victory, only silence. And in that silence, a accusation. The monsters in Avatar are never the Tulkun. They are us. Dune, Part 2. Sand ripples like breath. Then the desert splits. A cavernous mouth rises. Teeth endless. A body impossible to grasp whole. Denis Villeneuve withholds totality. Vibrations first, then dust storms, then glimpses that defy scale. For the Fremen, Shai-Hulud is God, judge survival. Biologically, worms make spice. Economically, spice fuels empires. Spiritually, spice unlocks time. Remove the worm and the universe collapses. Critics call it CGI excess, but the imagery insists otherwise. Low horizons reduce humans to grains. Sound blends rumble with heartbeat, coding inevitability. The camera holds on empty dunes long enough to make you listen. Then the ground answers, a moving horizon that treats armies, machines, and heroes as minor weather patterns. Riding the worm is sacrament, not stunt. The sandworm isn't monster, but operating system. Arrakis embodied as sentient infrastructure. Myth emerges when function becomes destiny. Where others threaten, this one defines. You don't escape Shai-Hulud. You align with it or vanish like sand and wind. Scale becomes religion. Size alone turns holy. The worm terrifies not through teeth, but by shrinking human ambition to nothing. In Dune, survival is worship, and the desert's god demands awe before mercy. Kong, Skull Island. Leaves quake. A colossal hand parts the canopy, and Kong emerges. Half beast, half tragedy. From 1933 stop motion to modern CGI, he has always fused spectacle with sorrow. Captured, caged, displayed, destroyed. The arc repeats, never dulling. The fall from the Empire State Building devastates because it's inevitable. Early readings cast him as exotic threat. Later versions frame him as victim of exploitation, mirror of colonial greed. Today, he trades blows as franchise gladiator. Yet beneath the fights, his essence endures. Kong is myth not because of strength, but heartbreak. He is too large to belong, punished for wonder, destroyed for difference. Directors preserve tenderness, a softened gaze, a protective hand, pauses before violence. Those moments argue against the cages. Even when he rages, the film frames him like a wounded monument. A creature forced into violence by smaller hands that call it progress, then demand his silence forever. His tragedy ends the same way every time. Not conquest, but loss. If monsters mirror humanity, Kong reflects what we avoid, our need to destroy what awes us. His death isn't closure, it's accusation, echoing across every skyline, long after the roar fades.